Mahanandi, a land where the morning mist meets ancient divinity. As the sun rose behind the Nallamala hills, the whole valley was wrapped in a silver fog. The air was cool, fresh, and filled with the fragrance of wet earth. It was one of those mornings that quietly remind you nature doesn't need to speak to leave you in awe. We stopped for a quick cup of hot tea by the roadside, the kind of tea that somehow tastes better only on a cold morning like this. The steam from the cup blended with the mist, and we just stood there, soaking in the silence and the beauty around us. The road ahead was bordered by lush green fields and thick forests on either side. Streams from last night's rain overflowed gently across the path, forming tiny ripples that shimmered in the soft sunlight. Driving through those hairpin curves felt like entering a painting. Every bend, every shadow, every breeze carried a new story. Along the way, a playful troop of monkeys appeared, sitting by the roadside, expecting snacks from travelers. Some leapt from trees, others just stared curiously at us. They seemed to be the unofficial greeters of the forest. A small waterfall trickled down from the rocks above, pure, clear, and rhythmic. We paused for a moment, watching the water carve its way through the stones. It wasn't a famous spot or a known location, just a random moment that turned beautiful because we were present to notice it. Every turn revealed something new. Red soil glowing under the pale light, distant hills wrapped in clouds, and farmers beginning their day in the fields. This video doesn't showcase any grand monuments or tourist landmarks. It's just the story of a road, of skies changing color, of trees whispering in the wind, and of that timeless joy that comes from simply traveling without a plan. The red earth, the glowing paddy fields, the scent of rain, everything felt alive. Everything felt enough. As we passed through small villages, we saw farmers walking towards their fields, children waving as our car went by, women carrying baskets of greens. Every frame looked like a painting of simple, beautiful life. Our next plan was to visit Sri Nemali Gundla Ranganayaka Swami Temple, a sacred spot hidden deep within the forest. The journey toward the temple was magical. Tall trees arching over the road, long wild grasses swaying in rhythm, and patches of sunlight breaking through the canopy. It felt like nature itself was leading us through a living corridor of green. But as we neared the temple gate, we were stopped by the police. The river nearby had overflowed, cutting off the path. We could see the current rushing across the bridge, strong and relentless. There was a quiet moment of disappointment for us and for other travelers who had gathered there. Pilgrims stood waiting, some still hoping the water would settle soon. But the forest had its own plans. Sometimes the journey stops us not to disappoint, but to remind us that nature always has the final word. We turned back, deciding to head toward Kasinayana temple instead. The road unfolded like a dream. Gentle slopes, emerald landscapes, and a sky that kept shifting between bright blue and soft grey. When we finally reached, the temple stood glowing in the afternoon light. Its stone walls, adorned with intricate carvings, spoke of centuries of devotion. The Shilpakala, the craftsmanship, every pillar seemed to hold a story from another era. It wasn't crowded, only a few devotees sat in quiet prayer. The calmness there felt sacred. We took part in the Annadanam, sharing a simple meal cooked with love. Eating under the open sky, surrounded by chants and temple bells. It was the kind of peace that can't be explained, only felt. After spending some time there, we began our return to Mahanandi. The evening light had turned golden, washing the trees and fields in soft warmth. The same roads we drove in the morning now looked completely different, like a film replaying in a new mood. Some trips aren't about destinations. They're about the spaces in between. The roads, the people, the skies, and those fleeting, quiet moments that stay with you long after you've returned home. Mahanandi was one such journey. Not of places, but of feelings. Misty mornings, forest drives, simple temples, and a heart full